Hi everyone, I'm Sarah, I'm the head of creative at Kaizen, and today I'm going to be talking about what makes a good PR campaign. So the first tip that I'd recommend is to make sure you run a link gap analysis that really clearly identifies the publications that you don't have links on that your competitors do. This is a great way to kind of understand initially the types of creative and types of campaigns that you should be running. This will help inform the creative that you come up with, which is crucial in making sure that you come up with ideas that are relevant, but also tie into journalist concerns and the news and that kind of thing. Number two, I'd say, is make sure that you have a keen eye for data. If you are running campaigns with data, make sure that you're manipulating in a way or merging different data sets together to make sure that you're creating something unique and something that's never necessarily been heard of before. And make sure that you have hopefully a data specialist. If you don't, there's loads of ways that you can do that where you can run simple data campaigns that you utilize third-party public data sources and that kind of thing. And one thing that's really important when you are coming up with your campaigns is that if you are working with a team that doesn't necessarily work on the client day-to-day, for example, or you're working with team members that don't work in PR necessarily on a day-to-day, an ideation brief is essentially a document that we use here at Kaizen where you kind of outline, key goals, key strategy, link gaps, target publications, and it can include things as well like inspiration from other campaigns that we've seen that we want to kind of emulate with our campaign. So there's loads of information in this document that I think can be super useful. As well, design is crucial to be talking about here because most PR campaigns, if not pretty much all of them, have some element of imagery or design within the on-site copy or page, for example. And make sure that is essentially that with your design that it's as straight to the point as possible, and it includes data and not too much text and that kind of thing as well. And then one of the other things I wanted to kind of talk through is outreach. When we are creating a campaign, hopefully because you've spent so much time thinking about how you can create the campaign, the idea for the campaign, that outreach isn't as difficult. However, I think when we are thinking about outreach, to always think reactively as well, to not just be limited to the target publications or the target kind of news subject headlines that you're trying to get here. Instead, make sure you're linking your outreach as well to topical things, Valentine's Day or coming up Mother's Day and things like that, but also, things on a day-to-day in the news, like, it's going to snow soon and that kind of thing. So make sure that you're kind of targeting your news outreach with reactive PR. And lastly, just quickly, I wanted to touch upon the point that a good campaign is never good without good reporting. If you don't report well on your campaign activity, linking back to those initial objectives that you set out in the beginning, if you're not reporting that properly to key stakeholders that determine whether or not we can continue working with digital PR strategy, it's really important to make sure that reporting is just as important as coming up with the idea, really, because if you're not properly reporting, not just on the KPIs that were initially agreed, but also things like social shares and how it's being talked about and brand sentiment and all those types of things as well is really crucial. If you're interested in hearing more about how to run a campaign, feel free to get in touch with our digital PR team. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.